What's going on, guys? This is Greg Farley from the WISEGUYS MMA page. I just wanted to kind of give a background on myself so I wouldn't just start talking about martial arts and you say, hey, who is this guy? I have a 5th degree black belt in Taekwondo and Shotokan karate. I've trained over 25 years. Martial arts is a big part of my life. I've always had a special place in my heart for it. I joined because my cousins joined and they soon after quit. Shame on them. But me, I always stuck with it. But in getting into my breakdowns, I love martial arts. I study tape. I study boxing. I study all combat sports. I train in combat activities. I love to kind of delve into. But that's enough about me. We're going to get into our first fighter breakdown on the new page. I've done writing blogs, but we're going to start off our video series with Khabib the Eagle Nurmagomedov. Of course, you guys know this Saturday, UFC 223, he's set to fight Max Holloway. It was supposed to be Tony Ferguson. We all know that's not going to happen for about the 4th, 5th time. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's the 5th time. It's just sad, man. It's sad to see it happen. But and kind of studying over his tapes, people always talk about Khabib. He got starched by Michael Johnson. He felt the pain from Michael Johnson. But if you go back and look at this exact tape, yeah, he got hit, and then he went straight into his strength. And his first strength is dominant top position. Top position in MMA, if you wanted to teach someone exactly what to do from a top position, you would definitely study Khabib. His second one is his vicious ground and pound. It's just ruthless. If you look at this clip actually right here, he's pulling Michael Johnson's arm back down and then pulverizing him again, so he can't ever post to get back up. Michael Johnson was basically scrambling and throwing anything, the whole kitchen sink at Khabib, just to survive. And that's probably Khabib's biggest strength, is while you're adjusting and surviving, he's just doing what he's always done. His next strength that I'd notice, at least myself, is his knee slice or his side control. And if you look just right here, he kind of pins his opponent's legs to the ground and then dominates from the crucifix position or side control. And then, as we all know, he finished Michael Johnson as if it was no problem at all. He's always giving thanks to God, Allah. He's a devout Muslim man. Moving on to the next series, I remember when he fought Edson. This has been about 4 months ago, 5 months if I'm not mistaken. I think it was in November. And of course, he made Edson almost look the same. So the one thing, and this is where I noticed a pattern of what Khabib does, is the supreme pressure, the forward pressure. So of course, there it is, relentless pressure. His pressure is so paramount to what he does that it almost never lets you set up. So while he, again, is doing what he wants to do, you're never getting to do what you want to do. It's kind of Floyd-esque in that he eliminates everything that you're doing with what he's doing. So basically, the game plan never really changes, but, of course, it is what it is. The merciless, the forward pressure, the constant stepping forwards, it opens wide open gaps for people to get punched. And of course, we all know what happened to Edson. He got mauled. He's an amazing striker, an amazing kicker, but he couldn't ever set his feet. So I just wanted to kind of shut up talking so you guys could hear that. Just his battle-hardened mentality. He's from Dagestan, and in Dagestan, if you know anything about Russia, you either are going to try to join the KGB, try to just be a working man, or you might fall into the jihadist territory. It's a jihadist territory where they kind of shit people off. It's a hotbed for that type of thing, not to get into politics and religion and all that. But, I think MMA is just a way out for a lot of people in Dagestan. Getting back to into Khabib, his supreme takedown ability is what we all know him for. Yes, we know his top position. Yes, we know he's dominant on the ground, but it's the way that he gets you down is what is so devastating. If you can kind of check out I think the Rafael dos Anjos. Yeah, here it is. The Rafael dos Anjos fight. Rafael dos Anjos is an outstanding grappler, and he made him look like a child. I mean, he ragdolled him, of course. He inside trips, the outside trips, the single legs, as you'll see in a little bit. It was a clinic on somebody that is so good. You know, RDA is a champion. He's a world champion. He's former lightweight champion. He's about to challenge for the welterweight championship. He's also fought at featherweight, I believe. He's an excellent fighter. There's a single leg I was talking about with a trip. There's at least 7, 8, 9, 10 different ways, and there's probably more than that, ways that Khabib can take you down. But for me to go over each and every one of those, it would take me at least a 10-minute video, 20-minute video, maybe even write a novel. You know, you guys don't want to hear all that. But the next thing that he kind of goes into is that same relentless pressure with his punching. It's not the cleanest, but it definitely is effective. It doesn't have to be clean if it's effective. His outside trips, going back to the trip aspect, his outside trip, it's called a sotogari, is the outside trip where he puts his leg on the outside of yours, steps off to the side with his hip, and then basically flings you up into the air. If anybody knows anything about judo, you know that judo is set up mainly off of the hand. You know, it's better work suited if it's set off the hands and then followed up definitely with the throws. So Khabib's strength, his dominant top position, the devastating knee slices, the destructive ground and pound, as I mentioned earlier, relentless pressure, supreme takedown ability, and just the wave that everything comes after the clinch. That's the trick that people need to understand about Khabib. Of course, this is one of the fights that arguably he lost. A lot of people have a big time debate about it. It's a lot of Khabib haters. I'm not a Khabib hater. I enjoy all these guys. I think these guys are absolute gladiators. But if he did have a weakness, as you can see Gleison Tibau pulling his head away, I mean, this man is massive. That man is probably the biggest weight cut. I'm going to kind of talk over it, Joe Rogan. You guys, I'm sure you guys don't care. But he peeled his head away. He got off the cage, and then he got to the center of the octagon. If there's a way that Khabib can lose, it definitely happens in that exact scenario, because Khabib doesn't have a whole lot of openings. You don't have an opening because you're getting pulverized. But his opening would have to be somebody that can grapple better than him, a Ben Askren, that type of guy, a long striker. And that's why I kind of give Max Holloway a chance, but he's a big man. He's 145, but he's a big man. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I wanted to kind of say thank you to everybody that has kind of been a supporter of my writing, and I'm humbled by it. But I'm not going to get into predictions, but I'm going to say Khabib's going to win on Saturday, and it's all going to be a setup for him versus Conor. And that's the debate that is going to last for the rest of this year after this Saturday, UFC 223. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys even checking out the video. Share it with your friends. Share it with whoever you want to. I appreciate you. This is me signing out. Bless.